Alright, what's going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. So, I know it's been a little bit since we had an install in the video. Obviously, we had the Japan trip, and then even before that, I hadn't uploaded for a month. That is the longest to date that I haven't uploaded a video. So, I apologize. We're gonna get back into the nitty-gritty of things. We have a new sponsor of today's video. You guys, if you guys haven't noticed from the title, we're going to be updating the speakers and the sound quality in the GR86. Probably what it should have came like from factory, but our friends over at Beatsonic had definitely found a solution and are going to hook us up. So let me show you guys exactly what I mean. All right, so this is their 3S1 model hi-fi amp that is plug and play and it's subwoofer ready. So it just has everything like that on the box, and it also shows the Beatsonic Japan since 1991. So super cool box. This is what you should expect when getting the 3S1 model. It gives you all of the specs here. Now let's see, once we open it up here, we got a harness, then we have some padding here as well. We also have the instructions manual, which looks pretty informative. I've gotten many things that didn't really come with good manuals. And then we also got the amplifier. Okay, so of course we got to do the before and after in terms of how it sounds. Let's do the before right now, and that way we can go ahead and get a good gist, I guess, of where we're at in terms of sound quality and the volume that we're at. And then we'll hit the install. I'll show you guys exactly what we're gonna have to take off. It's super simple, and then we'll do the after. Hopefully this is non-copyrighted music, you guys, because like I had to look it up and I haven't like done it this way in quite some time. I just went on YouTube and put non-copyrighted music, so hopefully this is non-copyrighted. I will say, because it is probably a song from YouTube, the clarity probably isn't as good in itself already, but I mean that might work for us. So hopefully we're gonna use the same song when we're done, but hopefully it does show somewhat of a difference. But like I said, this song is from YouTube, so it didn't really sound like it was high quality. Fortunately, that's what we got to deal with, but I promise you I will be able to tell you whether there's a difference or not. I would never lie to you guys or try to steer you the wrong way of a certain product. If they're like sponsoring the video, I would never try to do that to you guys. I care about you guys. It would suck if I was like following someone or watching someone and they, you know, we're putting this product out there, you know, really advocating for it, and it sucked, you know, so I would never do that to you guys. Now for the install part of it all, it's going to be literally in this whole section here. Probably gonna want to drop down your glove compartment. Basically, you are going to take off this plastic panel here. For us, we already kind of have this part off back here, but basically we're going to take off this part here as well. And like I said, normally you would have this part behind it, but we already have it off because we have our gauges. So that'd be the third part. Then you would come over here and you would take off this plastic section right here that's on top of the ignition. You could just pry it off. It comes off really easy. All of these come off really easy with like a plastic pry tool or something of the sort, just so you don't damage your stuff. And then it's going to basically allow us to take off this up here, and you're gonna want to unplug this, and then you're gonna be able to take out the head unit with 4 bolts that will be holding it down. So I'll run you through everything basically right now, but it's pretty simple, honestly. And like I said, just literally they have the harness already. You unplug certain plugs inside of the radio, put them into the harness, plug the harness into the radio, and then route everything through this section of the glove box, and then you're basically done. So pretty simple, honestly. I'd say if I was doing this without recording, it probably would take me like 30 minutes or less. So let's go ahead and get into the montage of getting this done. Right, now that we have everything exposed here, we have this off, we have the emergency and vent section off here as well. Now it exposes the actual radio unit. So just the 1 here, the 2 here, the 3 here, and then the 4, which I believe is the bottom one there. So all we have to do is unplug that, then we could pry the unit off and get to the wires in the back. Now it's Okay, so it is finally all in and set up. Like I said, it was honestly really simple. If I wasn't recording for you guys and trying to get different angles and such, it would have gone so fast. I just wanted to kind of mention a couple things. So for one, obviously, you know, when taking it off, we didn't have to, you know, do one step because that step was already taken off, and it's this plastic piece here. Another thing is we mounted it right here where our glove box sits. Now when I close it, it is a little bit of like a push, only because of this aspect probably pushing up the edge right here, but it still closes completely fine, opens completely fine. I had gotten that idea from the homegirl Low Too Slow. I had seen she had did this install and put it right there, and I was like, hey, that's actually pretty cool. The only like con I see in that is right behind there is supposed to be like your cigarette lighter or whatever kind of plug-in. I don't really use that. I have never used that since owning this car, and it's been like years. So that's kind of what led me to be like, well, I kind of like it right there. Let's put it right there. Because if it doesn't go right there, if you don't fit it in right there, then you would have to basically put it in like this slot that's behind this section here. It's like this little slot here, and it has maybe like a couple like cords or whatever, and there's like some hard plastic, and that's basically what you would put it. That's actually where they have it in like the original install video. That is basically your two options I see there. If you end up going with this route, also don't forget, don't put it over this section here because you still need it to close. So make sure that you got it aligned like where this piece of the glove compartment is, so that way it can close like so. Now that we got all that settled and it works and everything, so let's go ahead and turn on the hopefully copyrighted music and see the difference. This will be literally my first impression ever, so we're just gonna share this moment together. Let's see how it sounds. Now it's time for the test. Did it change? Did the quality of like the sound and very slightly of the bass change? Same song, we're using the same song from YouTube, just in case, you know, but this is the aftermath. So right off the bat, initially, like I said, on the before test, I could tell, I was already telling you guys, I was like, oh, it's from YouTube, it sounds a little crappy. I could already tell you right now, like from when it started, the drop on this song, it sounds a lot better in terms of quality, and that is from a song from YouTube. So unfortunately, I can't show you guys songs that I would like to show you that probably would have a better example, but that already in that initial state, I could already tell right off the bat. I was like, wow, that sounds a lot clearer. There's no like, you know, static in the back because it's from YouTube. How cool is that? That is so cool. Something so like small, a little amplifier, just made like the stock speakers like that much better. And like I said, it's not like we blast these. Like these can go up to, in terms of volume wise, it goes up to 38, and normally I have it around like 25 majority of the time, and then when I want a little bit more of a party, I go up to like 30. But now at 25, I can leave it at 25 and it's a party at all times. So pretty cool. I love that it has a lot more clarity, and I gotta say, for something that's like $350, you don't need to buy new speakers, you don't need to buy an amp or whatever for these other new speakers for clarity. If you want a subwoofer, I mean, it's literally just like right there for them to install. You can also play with front and rear in terms of the gain and quality. It has a piece for accessory mode if your car has that. Super cool. I really enjoy something just so simple, straightforward, plug and play, and it makes sense. So big shout out to Beat Sonic for being a new sponsor and for sponsoring this video. good product. I cannot wait to see what else they develop for cars. I know they have a bunch of other stuff for a bunch of other cars that they develop. Head down to the link down in my description or to their website and check out what they have. And if this is something that you guys might like to try, I am an advocate for it. I think it's super cool, and other people that I know also have put it onto their cars, so must be good if other people are going ahead and using it. Another option, if you didn't want to get the whole, you know, side speakers and speakers for up here, and you know what I mean, like that costs, it costs a little bit. Trust me, I know. So, and that's not even including labor, you know. So let me know what you guys think in the comments, if you guys think that this is a cool part or not. We do have some other stuff that I have been kind of preparing for in the background. Some stuff has to do with the engine, well, the majority of stuff actually has to do with the engine bay, and then again with our exhaust, because if you guys have been watching, you guys know that I'm like, man, it's kind of quiet. So we are going to be changing that pretty soon, but there's some other steps we need to do before that. It'll all make sense, trust me, it'll all make sense. Just know that it is on the way. It's currently in the mail being worked right now, and so once we get to that, definitely we'll have a lot more of an interesting experience, I think, with the car, and I hope you guys are excited for that. Alright, you guys, so it is a couple days later, and I wanted to wait for these parts to kind of come in to add this to this vlog. They're already on order, and I think it'll be kind of cool to include that into this vlog. So this is what we're gonna need to do before we start installing some of this stuff. But check this out, dude. Look. As you guys can see, is Downstar's full dress-up kit that they have for the 2022 GR86 and BRZ platform. So basically, all of these right here that you guys see replaces all of the OEM dress-up bolts in here, so that way when I open up the hood, it's now gonna be all super shiny and new hardware. So really dope. I've been looking at this for a little while because I haven't had anything in the engine bay worth showing, even like with the turbo and everything. It still was kind of basic in there. Like, if I was really honest, I probably would want everything to be like this like crazy chrome polish kind of look. We weren't really like there yet in terms of the importance of that. That's why I ended up getting like a deal on the Downstar hardware, because it's a little bit pricey retail, but I took advantage of that Black Friday sale. So definitely, I hope you guys took advantage of a bunch of stuff this Black Friday. I did get something from Billetworks as well. Okay, let's go. That's what I'm talking about, baby. So these are Billetworks caps for the important stuff. You know, you got your oil cap here. You got your radiator cap here. What is this? Some type of fluid. I got the kit from Billetworks just because these yellow caps here are just, it's just not good looking. Let's just be honest here. These caps suck, honestly. So it's gonna be replacing these 3 caps here that you guys see. Imagine everything just being matched with this like raw kind of titanium look. So all these bolts here are definitely titanium. I just chose the raw kind of look to them. Obviously with Downstar, if you guys don't know, we do have Downstar on the outside of the car. So all of these bolts here are all Downstar hardware. It was a lot better than what we had before, and I did choose to go with black because I felt like it went with the theme of the car. They definitely have a ton of different options in terms of like what kinds of dress-up bolts you can use and what colors you guys can do. But for the most part, I wanted to go with all Downstar because I really like the quality of their dress-up bolts. With that being said, I wanted to go for this look inside of the engine bay, you guys. As you guys can see, like this being kind of like a polished kind of thing. I wanted this to be shiny and polished as well. It would be cool if we would be able to have like the manifold kind of, you know, polished and like chromed out as well. So super cool theme in here. And like I said, now all of the dress-up bolts you guys are going to see in here, they're going to be titanium and a raw kind of look to it. So I'm super excited, and that's why we mashed it up with these. I missed a couple more caps in here. I think is the brake fluid here. It looks like, this looks like a brake caliper here. And then we got the windshield wiper fluid cap here. So I didn't see that at the bottom of the box, but definitely looks pretty darn good to me in terms of what we're about to replace here. Now, I will say that obviously this is a ton of bolts here, and they also come with like this Allen head fitment on top rather than your normal fitment. It also comes with this guide here, which will tell you like which one is for which and how many and whatever so forth. So this is going to be probably super helpful. Off the top of my head, it's not like I could be very knowledgeable enough to know which section goes where, so that is definitely helpful from Downstar. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the first step of this. It is not too bad in the engine bay. I mean, it's clearer than what it was before, like a couple weeks ago, because I had somebody kind of wash it down. But there is like, I don't know if you guys can see, but like around here, around the oil cooler, there's like this grime and just like oil, like old stuff, like kind of just lingering around, and it's been bugging the crap out of me. And you know what, like I'm also going to need to take down the bottom pan as well, because there's like a layer of it under there. It's just been annoying me. I know it's there, and it's one of those things where you know it's there, other people might not know, but you know, and it bothers me. So I actually ended up getting this steamer from TikTok shop. My boy told me this is where he got his from, and that he's been like using this. This is what he's been cleaning, you know, his engine bay with, and I'm like, okay. Wasn't too expensive. I think it was like 30 bucks. I've never used one of these, and it seems like it works really well in the engine bay. It doesn't look like it would harm any of the electronics in here. You know, sometimes I get really afraid and just like the unknown, right? If you took a pressure washer to the engine bay, and if it would like mess anything up, I just personally don't know if it would or wouldn't, and I don't like to want to take that risk. Even though we kind of had in the past in terms of like having like a detailer kind of do what he can in here, but that is something that I was just always been kind of wary of. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead, try this out, and then after we figure it out, clean everything up in there, then we're gonna go ahead and start taking off the bolts and changing them. So gotta make it look good first before you try to switch out all these nice clean bolts and stuff. You don't want them to, you know, be replaced when everything's dirty in there. At least that's what I think, in my opinion. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so we got it pretty much clean. It looks a lot better than a moment ago. Everything was pretty easy to use, honestly. Not bad for like 30-40 bucks. And as you guys can see, there's no dirt here. There's no dirt here. There's no dirt and grime over here. Looks a lot better in here, not as dusty. So definitely can go ahead and tackle these bolts. Now, one thing I was wondering, I was like, I wonder if the guide, the instruction guide they give is like very, very to the T in terms of like, put this bolt here, put this size here. And well, it is somewhat informative, but at the same time too, you're kind of wishing that they were just a tad bit more specific. And what I mean by that is like, so they go by like 1, 2, 3, right? And then they tell you in terms of the picture, in terms of where that number is at and the label for it. Now, it just doesn't necessarily tell you in terms of what pieces of hardware that you're supposed to use, whether that's a 10, 12, 13. I mean, I'm sure like once you get to that point, you'll realize once you kind of take off the hardware with the regular sockets. We're gonna go ahead and tackle this section first. We're gonna move from the left to the right hand side. I wish in terms of this, it was kind of more or less labeled in the same way that this is, which I kind of think it is, because the very first one says it's this, like this is the very top piece, and over here it's saying that number 1 should be the positive battery cable bracket. And if you bring this over here, you can see that I believe it's this right here, so we'll be like replacing that with this one. So maybe, you know, that is kind of how the process would be, and I'm just kind of guessing here, but I'm pretty sure that is kind of how they got it set up. Let's go ahead and get on it and see how it looks after. Finally have all of the bolts on, or at least every single one that we could fit on, as well as the Billetworks caps. I do have a little bit of concerns with the caps, and the reason being is not necessarily all the caps. Like this one, it's in there pretty good. I believe this might be a manual option only, just because you don't have this reservoir in the automatic. But for this one right here, which is the brake fluid, you see how it's like wiggly? Yeah, I don't like that. I mean, if I pull it, like this is locked. If I pull it, you know, it doesn't go nowhere, but it like, let's just say vibration just makes it shake and turn, and then it, you know, does that. Like that's a kind of a big concern for me. So we're gonna try it out. I don't know how long I'll have it on. If it's an inconvenience, I might take it off. And then unfortunately, we weren't able to use one of the biggest ones, which is the oil cap. Reason being is because this thing is so large that with my oil cooler, it's hitting the puck of the oil cooler, so it's not fitting. So this size is literally the exact size it needs to be for that oil cap to fit. So yeah, I guess I just have this cap for nothing. And this cap, we don't even have a windshield wiper reservoir anymore. I think we deleted that because now we had to run the front mount intercooler where that is supposed to be. So I literally have two Billetworks caps that I can't use. And then this one, this is the radiator fluid, and that is solid. And then everything else fitted up pretty darn well. Like, check out all of the shiny hardware, like so freaking nice. I really like the way that it looks. It's a lot like more unison in here. Obviously we're gonna still be doing a couple more things in here. You guys are gonna have to stay tuned for that. It's actually on its way in the mail right now. I'm super excited for that. It kind of sucks, we can't use the other two caps, so maybe I'll give them away to you guys. I actually have some other brand new stuff that I don't need that I wanted to be given away to some of you guys that have been watching and supporting, so definitely be on the lookout for that. Check out my stories in case I mention it, but maybe we'll do something like, maybe I'll throw it into maybe one of your guys' orders on the merchandise website for Press Start. So head down to the description down below, and for whoever ends up ordering within the time span of this dropping, and I don't know, like a week and a half, 2 weeks, I'll just throw in randomly one of these parts for you guys. Hopefully you guys could use it, because I definitely can't. And maybe we'll find a solution for this cap right here. Maybe we could find something a little bit smaller and that matches everything else we have. It would have been cool to have all Billet Works, you know, caps in there, but that's okay. I mean, it is really random. I mean, at least it kind of matches with some of the other stuff we have in here. Like the dipstick is still like kind of yellowish orange, and then a radiator cap as well. So that's literally the only thing that really matches, because I mean, you have like the red freaking struts here, and then you got like the red Gretty bits over there, and then like the red on the battery. Then you just got some random yellow in here. So it's coming together. Like I said, the engine bay, it wasn't my like important thing to do on my list, but it's definitely something that I wanted to do now that we were able to kind of do it now, especially because of what I have kind of coming through. So I just wanted to kind of start this just a little bit, and it was on sale for Black Friday, so why not? Don't forget, like I said, you guys go ahead down in the description below, and whoever buys something from the Press Start website, I'll throw in one of these Billet Works caps. Stay tuned on my story, because there is something that's a little bit bigger that I've been wanting to kind of give away to you guys. That is all I got for this episode, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this. I know it's been a little while. I haven't uploaded the Japan trip just yet. I'm gonna upload that after this, only because that one might take a little bit longer. There's a lot more clips in there, and just I kind of wanted to do it a certain way, so it's been taking me a little bit, and I know I haven't posted it in like over a month now. So definitely we have like a bunch of videos kind of being lined up and coming up, so definitely stay tuned for that. I apologize for being away for so long. I just had to kind of, I don't know, I had to get away and just revisit what I'm doing and how I'm doing it, and I just had to kind of think some things through. I'm just wanting to share that. I just gotta say, whatever it is you're pursuing, if you keep chipping away at it, eventually that cave is gonna show some kind of diamonds, you know what I mean? So, you know, just keep going, and be your biggest supporter, and make sure you don't spend too much time up here in terms of like just beating yourself up, or expecting yourself to be somewhere at a certain time when that might not be your time. So with that being said, I really hope you guys enjoyed this vlog, you guys. If you haven't already, please go ahead and like and subscribe to the channel. But trying to get to 10,000 for, well, let's just say almost, well, 5.5, almost 6 years now, and next year will be 6 years on the channel, going hard. But yeah, so definitely helps us out. I'm not quitting, and that is gonna make the difference between me and other people. So that's all I got for this episode, you guys. Make sure you live long and prosper, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.